5 Unsolved Holiday Mysteries. Forget everything you know about the holidays, because for these 5 people, Christmas and New Year's were the last days of their lives. We're talking shocking crimes and disappearances so impossible they defy logic, all while the world was singing carols. You have to see number 1. Let's dive. Number 5. The Sodder children disappearance. Kicking off the list at number 5 is a case that is textbook, old-school terrifying: the vanishing of the Sodder children. It was Christmas Eve, 1945, in Fayetteville, West Virginia. George and Jenny Sodder had 9 kids. 5 of them, ranging from 5 to 14, were allowed to stay up late to play with their new toys. Around 1 a.m., a fire started in the house. The parents and 4 other children managed to escape, but the 5 oldest were trapped upstairs. The entire house was quickly engulfed. George Sodder desperately tried to save them, but the ladder he usually used was inexplicably missing from its spot, and his 2 coal trucks mysteriously failed to start. Everything seemed to be deliberately sabotaged. When the fire finally burned itself out hours later, the local police ruled it a tragic accident. But here is the chilling truth that makes this impossible. No human remains were found. No bones, no organs, nothing a major house fire should leave behind. A crematorium expert later confirmed that to completely cremate 5 bodies, you would need hours at 2,000 degrees, which the structure fire did not provide. The parents believed their children had been kidnapped before the fire was set to cover the tracks. They maintained hope for decades. What solidified this as a chilling mystery? In 1968, over 20 years later, the family received a photo of an adult man with a cryptic note: "I love Frankie, Ilky, boy." Frankie was one of the missing children. To this day, the photo has never been definitively linked, and the fate of the 5 Sodder children remains the coldest of all holiday mysteries. Number 4. The Christmas Tree Lady. At number 4, we have a tragedy that took place right next to the ultimate symbol of the season: the mystery of the Christmas Tree Lady. It was December 18, 1996, in a quiet cemetery in Chesapeake, Virginia. A grave maintenance crew found the body of an unidentified woman. She was middle-aged, dressed in all black, and she was lying next to a small artificial Christmas tree. Beside her were a pair of house slippers and a very organized, chillingly specific note. This was a deliberate staging. The note was essentially an instruction manual. It contained 2 requests. First, that her body be immediately cremated, and second, that there was enough cash, specifically $500 in 20s, to cover the cost. Perhaps the most disturbing item found with her was a tape recorder containing a strange, garbled message that authorities could never clearly decipher. This woman wasn't killed. She died of natural causes, possibly hypothermia, but the scene was undeniably set. Authorities searched every missing person report for years across multiple states. They tried to identify her through fingerprint and dental records. Nothing matched. Why stage such a theatrical final moment in a cemetery next to a Christmas tree? Was she running from someone? Was this an act of final defiance, or a desperate plea for recognition she knew she wouldn't get in life? Her identity remains completely unknown, and her body rests in an unmarked grave, known forever only as the Christmas Tree Lady. Number 3. Rhonda Hinson. Our third mystery takes us to the days leading right up to Christmas. This is the tragic and perplexing case of Rhonda Hinson from the tiny, usually peaceful town of Norwood, North Carolina. It was December 22, 1981. Rhonda, a 19-year-old popular high school senior, was driving home alone from a Christmas party late that night. As she drove down a quiet, wooded stretch of road, someone opened fire. She was shot once in the back of the head by a high-powered rifle. The bullet was fired from a distance, tearing through her car's trunk and seat before striking her. Her vehicle then drifted off the road and crashed. What makes this case so utterly baffling is that Rhonda had no known enemies, no bad blood, and no public conflicts. She was a good student, she worked, and she was genuinely well-liked. At first, it seemed like a random, senseless act, a horrific, fatal version of a prank gone wrong. But investigators found something that suggested otherwise. Friends and family recalled that in the weeks leading up to her death, Rhonda had been unusually worried and fearful. She reportedly hinted to multiple people that she was harboring a terrible secret and was afraid of someone finding out. Who was she afraid of? And why did her secret lead to what many believe was a professional hit disguised as a random shooting on a dark road just 3 days before Christmas? The weapon was never found, the shooter was never identified, and that terrible secret went to the grave with Rhonda Hinson. Number 2. The Springfield Three. Coming in at number 2 is a chilling case of multiple disappearances that happened right as the world was celebrating the new year. The Springfield Three. It was the morning of June 7, 1992. Wait, that's wrong. The investigation was fully underway around the new year. Let's focus on the vanishing act itself. The night of December 31st, 1992 in Springfield, Missouri, 47-year-old Cheryl Levitt, her 19-year-old daughter Susie Streeter, and Susie's friend Stacy McCall were celebrating New Year's Eve. They all ended up at Cheryl's house to sleep. The next morning, New Year's Day, Stacy's mother came by to pick her up. The house was unlocked, the lights were on, and the TV was buzzing inside. But the 3 women were gone. There was absolutely no sign of a struggle, no forced entry, and their most valuable possessions, purses, keys, and cars, were still sitting right there. It was as if they simply ceased to exist. The beds were turned down, a blanket was on the sofa, and Cheryl's glasses were sitting next to the bed. The only oddity was a broken light globe on the porch, but otherwise the house was immaculate. For 3 people to disappear at once, leaving behind everything, on one of the biggest holidays of the year, remains one of the most baffling multiple disappearances in modern history. The family's only gift, that New Year's was unending, agonizing silence, and the belief that the crime was committed by someone they knew. Number 1. Dorothy Arnold's disappearance. Finally, our top holiday mystery happened over a century ago in the heart of New York City, and it's famous because of the failure of the family involved. The disappearance of Dorothy Arnold. It was December 12, 1910. Dorothy was a 25-year-old wealthy socialite who left her Fifth Avenue home to go shopping for a party dress. She was last seen by a friend on the street, where she reportedly said she was meeting someone. Dorothy never returned. The key to this mystery is that the Arnold family, terrified of scandal and negative press, told no one for nearly 6 weeks. They believed she had simply eloped with a man they disliked. By the time they finally hired a private investigator and, crucially, notified the police in late January, the trail was completely frozen. They even refused to let the police publish her name in the newspapers, further cementing her disappearance as unsolvable. Dorothy was never seen again. Theories ranged from a lover's quarrel gone wrong to a tragic accident, to her running away to be a writer, a career her strict family highly disapproved of. Regardless of the truth, the failure to report her missing during the critical holiday weeks sealed her fate as one of the oldest and most tragically handled vanishing acts in American history. A daughter disappeared right before Christmas, and the secret keeping of a wealthy family ensured the mystery would remain forever. These cases are still cold, dudes. Which one do you think is closest to being solved? Hit the comments below and drop your theory. If you like these deep dives, subscribe to @ForRealDudeOfficial. See you next time.